Today, our topic of discussion is database management system architecture. Now, first, we have to understand why we have to learn this database management system architecture. Here, try to understand any database is responsible for storing critical information and helps to access data quickly and securely. So, therefore, selecting the correct architecture enables efficient data management. So, if I ask that what do you mean by database architecture, we can say that database architecture means database design. So, today I will talk about what are the different kinds of designs which are available in particular database management system. So basically, there are three categories of database architecture. The first category is known as one tier architecture. Now, what do you mean by one tier architecture? I'm showing you one diagram. Now, try to understand what is the meaning of this diagram. See, this is the simplest kind of architecture of database management system in which the client machine, the server and the database all resides together in one machine. In simple word, I can say that if you install database software in your personal PC, it will act as a one tier architecture. And in practice, why we are installing database in our personal PC so that we can explore the SQL queries. So here you have to remember one point. So whenever in college level students are accessing database by installing database management system software to perform some SQL queries on their own personal PC, then it will act like a one tier architecture, as we have no subdivision in a single PC. We have the client, we have the server, and we have the database also. Now, the second category is known as two-tier architecture. Now, consider we have several client machines and we have one database. So, this is client 1, client 2, client 3, and they are accessing from this database. Now, why it is two-tier architecture? Here, two-tier architecture means you have one presentation layer. Presentation layer means the layer that runs in your personal PC. See, the client machine need not be a PC always. It may be a mobile also, or it may be a tablet also. So whatever may be the thing, PC or mobile or tablet, so there will be one layer which is known as presentation layer. In this presentation layer, it will run on the PC, mobile or tablet. And now data is stored in the server, which is called second tier. So basically, you have one server layer and one presentation layer. So that's why it is known as two-tier architecture. So why this two-tier architecture is used? It will provide you some added security in the database management system, because the database management system is not exposed to the end user, and it will lead us to the direct and faster communication. So that's why two-tier architectures are very useful. And now we will talk about three-tier architecture. In three-tier architecture, we will have one client machine and we will have one server and we will have one database. So what will happen? The client machine interact with the server and then server will communicate with the database. This type of architecture is little bit complex. In three-tier architecture, we will have three specific layers. First layer is known as presentation layer. this layer will exist in your PC, tablet or mobile. Then we have the second layer, which is known as application layer. This application layer resides on the server machine, and we have one database server in the third layer. So this is the three-tier architecture. Today we will learn the concept of DBMS architecture. Means if you have a database management system, then what are the different kinds of layers that you will have? So in case of three-tier DBMS architecture, if you see the block diagram, then you will have one external level. Then you have one conceptual level. And then you have one physical level. So we have to understand each and every level. So all these levels will have bi-directional communication. And here the database is closely attached with the physical level. Now, what is the actual activity that exists in this kind of block diagram? So first we have to understand what is the meaning of physical level. So at the physical level, we will store some information about the location of the database object. Now what is the meaning of this line? In simple terms, we can say the physical level of a database describes how the data is being stored in the secondary storage or devices like disk steps. Means physical level is responsible for defining that whatever data you are storing in your database, what should be the location of that data storage. Either it is in secondary memory like disk, tapes and so on. Conceptual level means here data representation is performed. Means we know that whenever we are dealing with database management system, then we have to use one table. In this table we will have some columns and rows. So all this table format are used in database management system so that we could store some data. Now in conceptual level, the representation of data is defined in one word. We can say that it describes about the data and their relationship. For an example, say I have created one student table. So to create this student table, what we should keep? We should keep student ID. And in conceptual level, what we will store? We have to store the type of the data we are storing. Means if we want to store the student ID in a particular table, then the data type should be of integer. So this information will be kept in the conceptual level. Similarly, in the student information table, there should be the name column where we have to store the name of the student. And what should be the data type? Data type of this name attribute will be of type string. So similarly, if you want to store age of a student, then it will be of type integer. So conceptual level deals with the type of the data that we are storing inside a particular table. And try to understand, in this layer the programmers will work. Means programmers are responsible for creating this table and retrieving the information from the table. So programmer has to know what are the data types that we are going to store in the table. So for that purpose, conceptual level of the database is accessible by the programmers or the database administrators. So this is the basic concept of conceptual level. Now I will discuss about the external level. So in this level, a database contains several schemas. Now what do you mean by schemas? Schema means table. Table means whatever we use for storing data, but these tables are completely different from the tables in the conceptual level. Why? Sometimes this schema are also known as sub-schemas. They are not the complete information. Why? Try to understand this point. This external level interacts with the user. So as a result, this external level will only show some part of the information from the table that exists in the conceptual level. Say in the conceptual level, I have one table or schema which is known as student. And within this table, I have information about student ID, student name, student login information, and student age information. So this is my complete schema that exists in the conceptual level. However, external level does what? It will show the part of the table on which the user is interested. Say one user wants to see only the name of the student and the ID of the student. So external level does what? It will show the partial information of this table to the user, that is the ID or the name. So basically here my point is external level will only show the sub schema in which your user is interested. It will never show the entire schema that exists in the conceptual level. And this sub schema that is visible at the external level, the schemas are also known as view. View is a schema that describes the end users some partial information from the original relational schema. And what kind of partial information it will show, it depends on the user's query. If the second user is coming and if this user wants to see only the name and age of the student, then this two information will be shown to the user 2 as sub schema or view 2 to the user 2. So these are the basic concept. However, there exist some more details. So there will be some question that may be asked in your interview also. What is that question? You have to understand. So basically in three-tier architecture, there exists the concept of data independence. Means at this point of time, we are concerned about logical data independence, and at this point of time we are concerned about physical data independence. Now we have to understand what is the concept of data independence in DBMS. See, data independence means it will define you the property of database management system that helps you to change the database schema on one level of the database system without requiring to change the schema from the next level or higher level. I am giving you one example. Say, whenever I am discussing the physical level, this level deals with the storage. Storage means, say, what kind of file it is using for storing database information. I am giving you one example. Say, for some reason, I am modifying the file organization. Previously, I am using B tree file organization, but right now I am using B plus tree file organization. It is the category. So here my point is at physical level, I am changing or modifying the file organization. Then does it affect its higher level, that is conceptual level? That is the question. So I can say that due to the physical level data independence, if I change anything at the physical level, it will not hamper the conceptual level. Now there will be one question, what kind of change we could expect in the physical level? The first kind of change that we could expect at the physical level is the very common change, that is change of location. Previously my database is stored in C drive, and now I am going to store my database in D drive. Since I am dealing with storage, so this kind of situation will be handled by physical level. So now at physical level, whatever database we have, if I change its location from one drive to another drive, this change will not affect the table storage of the conceptual level. Means conceptual level will not be aware about this change. What are the second kind of change that we could expect at the physical level? Switching to different data structure. Means previously I am using some particular data structure for storing my database. If I change that data structure, then whatever change I have made from data structure X to data structure Y, then the change in data structure will not affect the table stored in the conceptual level. Also, another kind of change we can expect in the physical level, whatever database we have created, always we have to fix some access mode of the database. Means who can access this database, user, administrator, or both. So now at the physical level, if we change the access level, means previously the database is created which is only accessible by administrator, now I want to change the mode of access to both. Means this database will be accessible by user as well as the administrator. So here I'm changing the mode. So if I change this mode, this change will be made at the physical level. But however, design structure, that is a table structure that resides in the conceptual level, it will not be affected. So basically, since whatever change we are making at the physical level, it is not affecting the conceptual level or its higher level, so we can say that physical data independence is achieved. Now, similarly, we have the concept of logical data independence. See, if you ask me this question, that what do you mean by logical data independence, I can say that it is the ability to change the conceptual schema without changing its higher level. Means without changing the external views or external APIs. Because data independence means if I made any change at certain point of time at certain level, it will not hamper its higher level. So what kind of modification we can expect as logical data independence? Say here we have two tables in the conceptual level. We know that conceptual level deals with table structure or schemas. Now if I merge these two table into one table, so basically I am changing the configuration of the table. So merging two table will not affect the external level anyway, because external level is responsible for fetching some of the information from this table. So if I merge those table, then doesn't matter, external level somehow will fetch the partial information that is needed by the user. So this is the first kind of change that we can expect in the conceptual level, which will not affect the external level. Or if there exists some table in the conceptual level, and if it has many columns like student id, student name, student age, we can break those record into two part. So in that case also, breaking an existing record into two or more records, it is known as logical change in conceptual level. However, this change will not affect the external level. So my point is, whatever operation we could perform, addition, modification, deletion of new attribute means we have student id, student name, and student age. Say I'm deleting the entire student age attribute. So whatever modification we will make, it will be strictly kept in the conceptual level. It will not hamper the external level. So try to understand. three-tier architecture in DBMS, where I have talked about three specific layers in DBMS, where we have at the bottom of this layer physical layer. Above physical layer we have conceptual layer, and above that we have external layer. If I ask you this question, so what is the difference between logical data independence and physical data independence? Logical data independence is mainly concerned about the structure or the change which is associated with a data definition. And since logical data independence deals with table structure and data change or data type change, we know that this independence will be related to conceptual layer, because initially I have explained conceptual layer deals with data storage, means if I store any particular information, what should be the data type of that particular attribute. Conceptual level is concerned about that. On the other hand, what is physical data independence? It is mainly concerned about storage of data. And we know that physical layer is responsible for dealing with the storage structure, means where I am storing the data, whether it is in secondary memory, in disk, or in tapes. Or it also concern about accessibility. So since physical data independence is concerned about data storage, so it is clearly associated with physical layer. Now, the question that comes in your mind, what is the advantage of this three tier architecture? Database system maintenance will become affordable, means while maintaining particular layer there is no need of interfering with other layer. If problem occurs at this layer, so I can solve it, so we have clear subdivision. So here the first advantage we can say that DBMS maintenance become affordable. Also, there is one point that we have to understand, that we easily made modification in the physical level. I have stated that whatever data I have stored at physical level, I can easily move from one drive to another drive, from C drive to D drive. For that reason, we don't have to interfere with its higher level. So if I want to improve the system performance, I can change the storage pattern, storage structure. I can move the directory also. So for improving the quality of the storage, I don't have to deal with the tables that is stored in the conceptual layer. So these are the very basic advantage that we could encounter from this three-tier architecture. So basically, block diagram for this three-tier architecture will be the external level. We know that it is known as view level, and I have explained that the external level will show some subschemas which is known as views. So we will have many views at the external level. So these are the partial tables which is created from the conceptual level. And here, what should be the type of the view? It depends on the user. Whatever is the need of the user, accordingly the attributes will be fetched from the conceptual layer. So for different user, external level will show different views. Now we will have the conceptual level, and this conceptual level deals with the actual schema. Actual schema means the table structure. And tables means what? In a table, in the column, which are also known as attribute, we will write the name of the data that we want to store. And rows are also known as tuples. Rows are responsible for holding the information. Say for ID number 1, the student name is A and address is say Kolkata. For ID number 2, the student name is B and address is also Kolkata. So remember one point, rows are responsible for holding the records, and columns are responsible for holding the attributes of a particular table, and the entire table in DBMS is known as schema, and this schema structure is stored at the conceptual level. And partial schema, it means if I want to fetch id and name, partial schema or sub-schema is known as view, and partial schema is only required when it is asked by the user at the external level. And now finally we have, as discussed, it is the physical level, and this level will hold all the information regarding storage, and this is your database. So basically, these are the three layers that you have to use for accessing the database.